Well, welcome to Level-Headed Marketing 2013. I'm really pleased to welcome a guest today who's well known in digital marketing circles, Matt Siltala. Matt's been working online since 1997, putting his degree in computers to work for himself and his clients in web design, link building, and SEO. According to him, since before he even knew it was called SEO. Before Matt became a regular speaker on the search industry circuit, he'd already enjoyed some celebrity status as a co-host for a country music radio station. He did commercials and voiceovers as well as hosting a program. In 2007, he decided his side businesses deserved more of his attention, so he stepped away from the corporate rat race to focus his efforts on his own thing. That thing grew legs, and Matt quickly built a reputation for his digital marketing expertise and his professionalism. In 2012, he rebranded Dream Systems Media to Avalaunch Media and began growing the company to meet his market head-on. With 15 employees, his Arizona and Utah offices service their clients in design, PPC, content marketing, social promotion, and just about everything in between. Oh, and he cranks out some of the best infographics you're likely to run across. That's what we're going to be talking about today. If you'd like to tweet us a comment or a question, please use our hashtag LHM2013. So we'll see it. And with that, welcome to the show, Matt. Thanks for joining us on Level-Headed Marketing today.
Hey, thank you for having me. It's my pleasure. I'm looking forward to chatting about infographics.
Well, let's start at the beginning. How long have you been interested in infographics?
It's funny because only, until recently, I say recently, a couple years ago, people started putting a label to them and calling them infographics. But, we'd been doing these for, my guess is, best guess is the first one I can officially say I did was back in 2007. But I mean, we've been putting together visually stunning graphics with awesome data on it, making it easier for people to consume stuff visually. For a long time, for as long as I've been doing any kind of internet marketing. I mean, I've chatted with some people that, some of the stuff that we used to put out. I mean, we could technically claim could go all the way back to the early 2000s, but I'd say officially one of the first ones that we ever put out. Dates back to about 2007 for us. And what we were doing was we were thinking about all the different methods that marketers could use to all the different channels that marketers had, in marketing these days. And we were comparing it to, what used to be the way that you'd market. You got radio, you'd have billboards, you'd have newspaper ads, TV ads, or whatever. You were super limited to your means of getting your message out there. And so we started talking about, okay, compare that to all the different methods that people have to marketing, and all the different channels that people have to, when it comes to marketing online. And so, we could have made that a post, and it would have been a pretty good post just written out. But we said, you know what? How about let's put some visual behind it, because that will show the true explosion of the different opportunities that are out there for marketers now. And it was pretty neat because we had this like solid line of just, one-off marketing channel here. A TV was invented, or a newspaper, whatever it was. And then you get the internet era, the computer era, and then it's like, boom, it was this explosion.
Yeah, exploded, really.
Yeah, exactly. It was this explosion of opportunities, whether it, back in the day, just the simple chat programs, or even MySpace coming up when it first was, and then obviously, to all the stuff that we have today. But it was pretty amazing to see visually, and and you can go and Google that and look at it. But it was the history of marketing channels, and it did really well for us. And we've rebranded it and updated it a couple times from when we first put our first edition out. But that was the one that really kind of got me going and excited about, data visualization, because I saw how people picked up on that, and they're like, hey, this was normally a boring topic, but you put it together in a way visually that kind of made people think about it and say, wow, that's true. Look at all these opportunities, and just look how marketing had exploded since the computer era. And I'd say, I guess that's where it first all kind of clicked for me, if you will.
Yeah, I know it. a really good infographic, one that's striking, that just grabs you, is amazing because people right away they want to embed it, they want to save it, they want to link back to it, and key it presents good information in a way that can be quickly understood, and I know it became somewhat of a hot item, a fad, in the last year or so, and a lot of people have been, they grab MS Paint or Photoshop or whatever, and they slap something together, and unfortunately, some of them just
Yeah.
they become they become even more difficult than an Excel table to try to build a mental image. It doesn't flow. An infographic to me tells a story.
Yeah,
One of the Go
I
ahead.
yeah, I like how one of my friends, Randy, who runs the coolinfographics.com, how he always likes to explain, a good infographic is not just making some words, it's not just bigger font. I can't remember exactly how he puts it, but an infographic is not just big fonts with numbers and letters behind it. And so, yeah, that's it just made me think of that when you said that.
Yeah. Well, where have you come up with some of your great ideas? I've seen some infographics you put out that were just stellar, really. And where do you get your inspiration for these ideas?
You know, um, I have a good team behind me, but um, a lot of it, and again, I don't know how to say it any other way, but I got, my mind is always cranking. I'm always thinking, and I, but before I kind of dive into that, I'll kind of give you the easy one. We look at a lot of the stuff that's hot, and so a lot of the ideas that we come up with that do really well, like we did one called the true cost of the iPhone 5, and Mashable had started talking a lot about the iPhone 5, and we were just thinking to ourselves, we're like, no one's done a great job of breaking down what the true cost of it is going to be with the cords included, all the new cords. I mean, just everything that was intelligent. And we said we need to put together something really quick and piggyback off of one of these guys that's really talking about it and see, if this is something that their readers would like to consume. And it ended up being an amazing idea. So I don't know whether you want to call it newsjacking or trend watching or what, but so a lot of the great ideas come from just paying attention to what's hot right now. We never did anything with it, but a perfect example recently would be how uh, Sony and Microsoft just came out with their new or they just made their big announcements for their new game consoles. Another great idea would be about the time that within a day or so work really hard putting together a pretty good graphic comparing the two, the cost, the breakdown, everything. And I guarantee you something like that would have been picked up by Mashable in a heartbeat. And so, I mean, it's just staying on top of stuff like that. If I would have had a client that would have been, worthy for at the time, then I would have done something like it. But the other side of it is just I tell people it's a curse that I have. It kind of annoys my family at times because I can't stop thinking about how to turn something, in an everyday life into marketing. Um,
That
you know, I,
marketing gene, eh?
yeah. Well, the story I always share that makes people laugh and kind of makes me shake my head is, my son, he, growing up, he had one of those Tonka trucks, those metal ones, those real nice metal ones that again, they're kind of cheap plastic ones today, but and I can't remember exactly when they started switching from the metal to the plastic, but he had one of those really nice plastic ones, and I saw him do all kinds of crazy stuff with that truck. I mean, he would put himself in the back of it and go floating down a mountain. We had this big slide in our backyard, and he would get in it and go down. And anyway, he would do all these things that I guarantee you Hasbro never intended, done with their Tonka truck. And so things like that, I just started thinking about whether it be infographics or link bait articles or whatever. I said if I had a toy client, this would be the perfect opportunity to do a post about 10 things Hasbro never intended to happen with their Tonka truck or whatever it might be. And so, it's just things like that, like things that happen in my everyday life that that help me and that give me inspiration. And like I said, we do have a pretty good team, and we throw out ideas, and I don't like to, I don't like to make things too complicated. I like to, if I can envision a really good infographic with just a title, if I can, come up with a title, and that title can basically kind of give you an idea of what the story of that infographic will be without having to go into like too many details and sentence after sentence explaining exactly how you have to put it together and make it work. That, to me, that's how I know I'm going to have a really good infographic, if you can basically envision it all just by the title. And so, that's what we've kind of tried to train our people, and when they're coming up with ideas. But also, other methods. Again, Pinterest, really big, really hot right now, and kind of, the new version of Dig from back in the day as far as traffic and links and what it can do for you if you get something that's really amazing pinned a lot of times. But basically, there's a lot of great how-to ideas over there. Reddit has a good section for how-to. And anyway, just think of whatever your industry is. What are the questions that people are asking? What's hot right now? What's in the trends? We have several lawyer clients that we were on top of all of the different items that were hot. For example, when the gun control debate, it's still obviously ongoing, but back when that Zimmerman in Florida and the right to protect yourself, or I can't remember exactly what that was called. Anyway, I can't remember exactly what that law is called, but we jumped right on it, and we put out a graphic that was basically showing you your right to protect yourself states and things like that. And so again, just I don't know if there's any one secret method. It's just mostly just being on top of your industry, being on top of your clients' industries, understanding, pay attention to the news, what's trend setting, and part of it just has to be in your creative mind, and just how you think as a marketer, and think outside the box and say, okay, how could this relate to my client? And how could I explain this visually to make people want to consume it? Because a lot of times, you may have, I guess one of the better examples would be you could have, the most boring client in the world, like a paper shredder, for example. But you could put together a graphic showing how much paper is shredded in a day and compare it to like the tallest buildings in the world. And that would be something that the general population would probably want to consume more than just an article talking about how much paper is shredded in a day.
Sure.
And so, again, I think a lot of it just comes from doing it for so long, but then there's a lot of it, of creative people on our team, and then just paying attention to what's going on. I mean, just being very observant. So.
Well, basically a mindset then. You're always in a marketer's mode, apparently, and I envy you that. I have to turn mine on and off.
I wish I could turn mine on and off. My kids would probably enjoy that a little bit better.
Have you got any particular styles? There's different styles we see that I've seen some, particularly now as the interactive idea comes to life. I see some that'll come out and they've got mouse overs that bring up little info windows and actually full blown interactivity. And some are simply, they're more focused on the graphic, as you say, where you have a minimal amount of text, where the pictures tell the story. What's your favorite style in terms of what you think is the most effective or shows the most potential?
I really do love the interactive graphics. I love those kind of motion graphics that are more video infographics, if you will. The problem with a lot of those is, especially with a lot of the interactive infographics that are done right, is they're too costly for most normal clients to be able to afford. I mean, when you're talking in the price range anywhere between $5 to $10,000 to make one of these that does really well. Again, one that does really well can make you hundreds of thousands of dollars depending on exactly what you're wanting it to do, and we've seen this happen.